Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. My name is Taro Stash. I am thrilled you are here. There's a lot of things you could be doing online right now. There's a lot of things you could be doing. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I am thrilled to welcome Viviane Heller for this casual. So, everybody, please say hello to Viviane. All of Viviane's links are in the description below, as are details about who you are, what you do, all of the magic that is Viviane. So in case people do not know you, they will after watching this. So, and um, and yes, I am in my castle library. I thought, there you go. We need to do that. Viviane, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor. Thank you so much for being here.
Aw. Well, what I was telling Viviane
Mm-hmm.
backstage, I was like, going, my apologies for it being so long for me to get to invite you. I feel like I've known you a lot longer than I actually have. You've
Yeah.
had your YouTube channel for
Mm-hmm.
just a year, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have surpassed your 500 subscribers.
Yes.
Uh, and I would love for people to go over and support Viviane by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know Viviane from the chats because she shows up as Viviane,
Yes.
but your YouTube channel is Viviane Heller.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, so I'm going to pause for a second. What say hi to everybody. Do what you need to
Yeah.
do.
Hi everyone. I also feel like I've known you for a long time, and I love how creative and spontaneous and fun you are. You have such a beautiful energy, and it's really nice to be here. And you're so
Thank you.
friendly and kind. And yeah, so I started on YouTube as a moderator, really, and I still
Mhm.
do that. I came across a lot of the YouTube channels that I'm a moderator while I was searching on YouTube for angel numbers, and I started watching Kyle Gray and
Mhm.
Doreen Virtue used to do, back in the day, videos that should give angel readings and angel messages, and I loved it, and I've been from a young age interested in things like chakras and angels, and I had tarot readings in my country. I'm originally from Brazil, and my family is in Brazil. My mom is watching now. Oi, mãe. And I didn't tell my mother and sister about my channel until I had at least 500 subscribers.
That's
So
exciting. That's
yes,
really
yes.
exciting.
And now my
And
mom watches all my lives, so
well, of
it's cool.
course mom does because mom is proud of you.
Yeah,
She's
thank
proud
you.
of you.
Yeah.
And I have to
Hmm.
say, and you can translate this if you want.
Sure.
Thank you, mom, for creating and fostering a beautiful, beautiful being like Viviane because we're all better because of it.
Thank you so much. That's sweet. Mãe, o Gerald tá me elogiando e elogiando você, e dizendo oi. Thank you. So, yeah, so moderating, I started coming across all these channels, and then I was drawn to, and I was a lurker for the longest time. And
Yes.
the first time I ever uh, joined the chat, I used my initials VH, and it was the Nasty Women Tarot.
Oh yes, with
Yes.
yeah, with
Oh my God, there was so much fun.
yes,
Lisa and Sharon. Oh my God.
yes,
So
yes.
I was a lurker for the longest time, and then anyway, so I it was so much fun watching them.
Mhm.
And then I saw how everybody was so supportive of each other, and I loved that vibration and that community aspect of it. And I started. following all the channels, and then little by little I was earning a range here and a range there.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it's been like, I think there are like 40 channels that I have arranged.
Wow.
About 40, yes.
And so you know what I'm gonna do?
Yes.
Overachiever. I love it. Love it.
Oh. Um, okay, let me see. I think my channel
Okay.
is buffering.
Seems like there's a buffering on
Mm-hmm.
Viviani's
And
channel. So, and I do want to remind everybody, please do me the favor and like and subscribe. It's free. And this is for entertainment purposes only.
now my next goal is 1,000, everybody.
Yes.
Uh,
Do not make any decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really,
mm-hmm.
really. And well, let's say hello to some of the best chatters that are here.
Yes.
And right now we are simulcasting this, so
Mm-hmm.
everybody gets to share. Um, the first one in is Viviane herself. um, Beth Aspasia Rising, Kaylee Fogo Pogo, and ooh, mods, please watch this one. Craig is here. Jenny Berlin. Maureen is here. Linda de Gonzalez. So,
And Wanda.
and Wanda, yes. I am Lulu. And so Hershey is here. Hello.
Hi.
CJ. Mosaic Insight. Hello. Denise McMullen. Linda. Dunbro. Is that Dunbro? Duntra. Garnet is here. Special Viviani. Special hello. Yes. Sally Salrods. And okay, so it is wonderful to have everybody here. I just went to subscribe to Viviani, but I'm already subscribed.
Yes.
Well, I knew
Thank
you
you.
were a smart one. You're a smart one.
Thank you.
So, and Joan Baker is here. This is wonderful. So this is my opportunity in a casual
Mm-hmm.
to get to know people and to share that wonder of Viviani.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, I do send preparation emails to people and saying, you know, we'd like to know your origin story, and that
Yes.
how tough is that? And it's like, okay, what's your origin story? And whatever you are comfortable with sharing.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I was born and raised in São Paulo, Brazil. So I speak Portuguese. I moved to the U.S. many, many years ago, and I learned English here. So apologies for all my grammar mistakes here and there, but it happens.
We don't care. Well, I
I
don't
have
care.
a love-hate relationship with prepositions and a few other things, but
I do too. I do
oh
too.
yeah. So yeah, I'm fluent in Portuguese. I studied um, computer networking, and then I studied French. It's been many years too. I love languages. I understand a little bit of Spanish and sometimes even Italian because of the no, I love the Romance languages. So
Okay.
um, anyway, so um, I mentioned earlier how I came across this community, and I loved how everyone is so supportive of each other, and that's how I started. Doing the moderating, following everybody. I never imagined to have a channel. I'm usually shy, and I like to be behind the scenes. And I a couple readings given to me said, a guide said, "Oh, you're gonna be doing this." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." Just like Linda just says, that's cray cray or whatever. I really didn't
Mhm.
expect this at all. Um, and hi, Saida, and I just really love how supportive and loving this community is. I also love healing and through my journey of still still have am following my journey of seeking to improve myself and heal. So I also volunteer. I love animals, so I volunteer for an animal shelter for over
Nice.
about 14, 15 years. It was a no-kill animal shelter. Loved
Hmm.
helping animals. I have cats, and they came from that same shelter. I also volunteered for about 12 years for an organization created in pretty much all states since Katrina, so that when there is a disaster, um, people will have a special shelter for the animals, because
Uh-huh.
we saw what happened in Katrina. People didn't want to live
Yeah.
without their animals, which is understandable. So I dedicated most of my time doing that after college, because I did not uh, have I did not find a job that was right for me. I was not happy and felt really unfulfilled, and I figured, okay, I'll dedicate my time to animals and volunteering. So I decided to. I heard through the community. I heard a lot about Reiki. I didn't know what Reiki was. So then
Sure.
I started to um, do my little research on that, and I thought, okay, I can use that to help animals. So that's how I started. Well, my aim was to. Here's my mom on the chat. Teresa Ferraz is my mom. She's on my channel. Teresa, yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Oi, mãe.
You.
So, so I started with Reiki to help myself, my own healing, and then to be able to help animals. And then, I had the opportunity to read the Akashic records. Interestingly, Val and Marina, they do the lovely show on Thursdays, for light workers, messages for light
Yes.
workers.
Yes. Hmm.
And I could not find the replay, but in one of those lives, Val gave me a message, and the Akashic records card came up, and she said, I think you're going to be reading the Akashic Records and this and that. And then I never heard about the Akashic Records before. I didn't know what that was either.
Uh-huh.
So interestingly, I ended up taking the Akashic Records class with Val, which I love. Val is my fairy godmother. And I also had a lovely reading and from John, that I'm honored to join him on his channel
And
every
that's
Monday and
John
Thursday.
Binney. Am
John
I?
Beanie, yes,
Yes.
Binnie, and he's amazing. So John gave me a couple readings on Sun Psychic Gene, and but on Ali Heart and Soul Connected channel,
Uh-huh.
and he gave me a clearing on Ali's channel, and it was amazing. And I have to say that really changed my life, because after that clearing, I noticed my clairs really came like online, and be, I was having a lot of started having a lot of my intuition became stronger, and my dreams, like a lot of vivid dreams, and I was like, okay, there's something about this. So I
Hmm.
really became even more drawn to his work. I followed him mainly on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
and I love how grounded and humble he is, and how transparent John is about his journey, how loving he is with you know his family, his journey, about how that beautiful his journey is. And I started.
Hmm.
I wanted to have a one-on-one session with him, but I kept putting off. I guess it was my ego, getting in the way. I don't have time, or this or that, whatever. And I
Hmm.
finally did have a healing session with him, and it was wonderful. Learned about a past life that we shared, and he offered a live. It was a workshop I joined, and then later on joined his classes, and I absolutely love working with him. And every Monday and Thursday, I simulcast the live streams on my channel. It's at
Yes.
11:30 a.m. Eastern time,
Hmm.
and I am continue to work with him. I'm a member of his channel too, so really help me. I all the healing that I receive, I love to share.
Yes.
And I know some people. I'll say I'm not for everybody, and that's fine. But I offer animal communication readings and Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I love treating animals with Reiki energy. And of course, I do Akashic Records readings and mediumship too. I actually have mediumship practice tonight
Hmm.
after my live stream. So I love learning different things and combining different things. I also, for my own healing, I also have for about, I'll say for the last 3 years, I also do regular, therapy. We can all do, and I'll do what I can to become a better version of me.
I completely agree with you. And when
Hmm.
we are fortunate enough to have someone who does the standard or regular therapy understand that we're also
Yes.
working energetically,
Yes.
it's really, really beautiful. It's really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. Let's take a second and get caught up in chat because more and more people have joined
Yes.
us.
Lovely.
And so
Thank you.
I have missed a whole lot of people, but I do want to point out what Donna Marie said. Hello, you are very gifted, Viviane.
Thank you.
And Beth has shared English is extremely difficult because it has absorbed languages from different origins and it's highly irregular, just like me. Um, and Josh is here, Mr. Floyd's universe. Good to
Hi,
see you.
Josh.
And people are excited to learn more about Viviane. So,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, Molly sends her love to Viviane, and that's
Mm-hmm.
Garrett's uh, dog,
Yes. Hi,
or
Molly. Hi,
Garnet. Sorry, not
Garnet.
Garrett. So, and so more people are here. I think this
Mm-hmm.
is wonderful. Seascape has joined us. This is lovely. Rachel is joining us as well. So you've been doing a whole lot, and this
Mm-hmm.
is has this been in about a year's worth of time?
I'll say mostly the last three 3 to 4 years.
Okay,
When it comes to the animal shelter work, I put a pause on that because the classes I started taking, and because of what I'm doing on YouTube for my own uh,
sure,
self care, self love, and my own healing. So I put a break on the volunteer. I was going to the shelter for a couple of years. I was there Monday through Friday, and 6 or 7 times throughout the year for events on weekends. And I just got to a time like I need to take that time back. And when it comes to the other volunteering work for it got to a point I couldn't really attend the meetings, and I just felt like I don't want to be have my name there if I'm not really
sure. That makes
giving the time. So I took that time back. But yeah, I'll say it's been more intense for the last um, 2 to 3 years,
sense. 2 to
especially
3
the
years.
last 2 years,
Yeah.
more involved.
Well,
Um,
and I think anytime you take a class and you get new information,
mm-hmm.
it's wild. It's really
Yes.
wild because there is so much opportunity to so many things awaken within oneself.
Yes.
There's so many things that just sort of make sense now.
Mm-hmm.
I also find it important to suddenly it's like, how do I do this now? I've forgotten how I used to do it because I have new information.
Yes.
So,
And
yeah.
we're always learning too, and it's nice to learn. You can be the same subject from different teachers. We learn from each other. We learn through the
Yes.
practice, and I love meeting more people, like-minded people. So yes, it's a lovely journey. Not always easy, but lovely.
I agree with you. Not always easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've talked a little bit about your origin story, and you've also sort of gone into your spiritual path already.
Yes.
Is anything else you want to say about that? Because Angela has come in, Maru is here, so many people are watching, so thank you.
Thank you.
Please remember to go over and subscribe to all of our channels. Links are below.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. So, yeah. What
Well,
is there? Yeah, go ahead.
when it comes to my spiritual journey, it's always a work in progress because, like I said, I had those interests, but I'll say for most of my life, like I studied different things, and I had so many different jobs. I worked in insurance, I worked in marketing, and it was just like uh, I could not, I couldn't really find what I was uh, f- good at, or I couldn't really find something that was giving me. It was not just okay. We all need to earn a living, of course, but I really wanted to do something that I felt fulfilled in it. There was just always that void for me, and
Hmm.
it was very frustrating. And I had a period also of comparing myself to others, which is not great.
Uh,
We always do that every once in a while, but it's I'm like, oh, how come so and so like have this career thing figured out and this and that, and like, and I always felt like stuck and behind, and couldn't really figure it out. So the time that I dedicated to animals was also at times like, okay, I need to stop because I can't like figure this thing out, and the spiritual journey little by little with my healing, and also the Akashic records readings that I had from Val. I won a reading with Val, and really I'll say that the Akashic records reading, that one especially, really opened, it gave me a whole new perspective. And the first one actually I had, the questions I was asking were so ego driven and ego minded, and it was like, well, what was I thinking afterwards, like what was I even thinking? I didn't really um uh I had, I reflected a lot after that reading. And then when I had another Akashic record reading with Val, it was like, okay, now I understand more about my path,
mhm.
about my journey. And in readings, I had, okay, I was told, okay, you're an animal communicator, and you have all the clairs. And I started, putting, Val used to tell me in many readings, okay, follow the breadcrumbs. And I was like, okay, I, I think about that. So I will write, I'll journal about my readings and listen to them again. And sometimes listen to them with your eyes closed. It's a different experience when you listen to a reading, the message, because, oh,
Yes,
okay, then until things start sinking. And I was really started following the breadcrumbs. A funny thing, I love when Val and Arthur Ease Your Mind, Val Dragonfly Crystals, and Arthur Ease Your Mind read together. I love them together, and Arthur's a lot of fun too. He's got a great
mm,
sense of humor.
oh yes.
So in readings that and they gave me through the YouTube lives, um, Arthur's guides would say, I asked a message from my spirit team. So he said that they gave me like, okay, you get a 9, you get a 10, you get an 8, or something like that. So it was as if I was an Olympic swimmer, and they were giving me the yeah, okay, you get the gold or you get the
Yes.
silver.
Mhm.
And so that became like a thing, and all the masters were like, okay, you're jump in a pool, or do it. And and I started like trying to put that into practice in my everyday life. And I mean, I still get nervous, I still get uh, scared. I still question and have my, insecurities and all that. But I'm trying to really follow the steps, and my journey is evolving. And it took me a long time to actually say, "Oh, I'm an animal communicator," because I couldn't say that. And
Yes.
I'm just really wondering. Mountain is work lurking. Thank you for being here.
Yes. Hi, Jamie.
So, and I love learning new things, and but yeah, it's been um, a journey also to accept that side of me. It's like, okay, so now I say, even though I'm nervous, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm coming out of this um, spiritual closet, so to speak, because I didn't know those things about me. I didn't know I had all the clairs. I didn't know I could be an animal communicator. I didn't know any of that. So,
Well, and that's part of the process, I
mm-hmm,
think. I sometimes look at myself and I go, well, yeah, that's how I've been, but I did not have a framework to understand
mm-hmm,
the skills that come with that. And
mm-hmm,
also, not everyone has those skills.
yes.
So it's very exciting. It's very
Yeah,
exciting.
thank you. And I've been always creative since I was a very young girl. I love things like, painting, drawing. And so I had that quiet, creative side.
Mhm.
And interesting now, when I took computer classes, I also took 3D design classes.
Ooh,
It was 3ds Max 5, the software I was using back then, and video editing classes was it was something Premiere. I'm trying to remember the name. The Anyway, I now when I'm working with John and I'm having more and more of my minds, I images. It makes me think about the computer 3D thing that I was doing back then, because it's almost like I'm seeing all those shapes and forms and visions like come together. So it's really, no, I'm not a Sag, I'm a Virgo. So you wouldn't
ah,
think I'm a Virgo because my house is not very organized right now. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm a Virgo. And I think it's a Virgo, and my ascendant is Aries, and Moon Gemini. Gemini. Yeah.
I think it's really interesting you've made that connection with the spiritual stuff
Uh huh.
and the computer stuff. I
Yes.
actually don't think that's a huge leap,
Mm-hmm.
because if
Yes.
you hear when I listen to scientists and computer
Mm-hmm.
geniuses talk about working with a computer program, it's
Mm-hmm.
really fascinating some of the
Mm.
leaps they make and the connections. It's
Yes.
almost like when I'm doing readings, where
Mm-hmm.
suddenly I'm like going, all right, I don't know why that I'm saying that, but it works. And Beth said, ah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Virgos and Sag are always wanting to learn. Wow, so Gemini
Yes.
and Aries. No wonder you want to take on so much learning.
Yes. And Virgos are big on healing too, and that's when it comes to the readings that I received, and I just think it's not the message. It goes beyond this. I received so much healing and changed my life in so many ways that
Hmm.
I want that for other people. I want more people and more animals to receive that, to to receive the healing and become a better version of themselves. And it's time. There is we and with that healing doesn't happen if you don't have self-love, which is a big part of my journey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I get more and more into this work every day, to learn how to pay more attention to my self-care and self-love, because for so many years I see how I didn't really love myself. And um, that's a big part of my journey,
I
self-love.
am thrilled that you have made that connection. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's one of
Thank you.
those things. It's one of those things we have to be nice to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned something about not comparing yourself to others. It's one of
Yes.
the worst things that you can do,
Yes.
because the other is not you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to have inspiration from others who are outside of
Yes.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. if we don't incorporate this into my own language, into my own
Mm-hmm.
codes, it's not going to work. It's just lip service. It's just taking a class and not putting any of that to practice.
Yes.
So,
And with the Akashic records readings too, like I grew up very poor, very had a very difficult. My mom was a single mom, and
mhm,
so there's so like I growing up had a lot of trauma, and my childhood trauma. We so many of us do experience trauma, and now older and hopefully wiser and looking back now. Um Through the Akashic records, you also understand, okay, what you're you chose your parents, you chose this, you chose to experience this, you
mhm.
chose to experience that, and you learn to love yourself more and understand how your people, your family, others, they also struggle, they also had their journey. Maybe you're not I hear people saying, okay, my parents don't, that's not my my mom loves me, but it's, oh, so and so don't love me, but maybe they didn't have that, they don't know how to, or they didn't receive that,
Yes.
growing up.
Yes.
So
I do think it's really smart for you to be getting the combination of support for your own growth.
yes. Uh-huh.
I have to remember I'm not an expert at everything. I know, shocking. Everybody is shocked. I'm not an expert. I'm not. I think the smartest
Uh-huh.
people are the
Yes.
strongest people are the ones who go, I need more information. I need
Mm-hmm.
help. And they go out, they
Yes.
find it, and they accept it. So,
Yes, and I did regular therapy in the past, many years ago. That was when I ended a, a relationship, and it was absolutely awful time in my
mhm,
life, and it was a big struggle. And I started therapy back then, and it helped. Then I took a break for many years and started last 2 years. Didn't really want to get started at first because, okay, now I'm going to start with different therapists. I'm going to have to start all over again, tell my story all over again, blah, blah, blah. So I resisted at first, but I was experiencing pretty much every night um, night terrors, and I was like nightmares every
wow,
single night. Wake up screaming for last 2 years, wake up screaming, and dealing with a lot of trauma and a lot of um, also other health issues. I One health issue that I dealt with, and I don't mind sharing for someone that may have experienced that. I had experienced PMDD, which is the severe form of the PMS symptoms. So I had a lot of like terrible mood swings, and for the longest time I didn't know what that was, and it was a struggle. And so um, that was something that therapy helped, and antidepressants helped with the PMDD symptoms. And I, for the longest time, I was miserable. I didn't know what was happening to me, and I even thought, well, maybe I'm bipolar. What is this? But that wasn't the case. Don't mind sharing that. And over 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and
mm,
I'm blessed to be on remission.
right,
And so those things, like, especially of course breast cancer, made me question more of my life choices and what was happening. During that time, I was working for uh, a friend of my ex, and it was opening a startup business, and I because I was unemployed and still doing my volunteer work. Okay, I thought, okay, this is an opportunity, because who's going to hire me now? I Without experience and dealing with all this crap. And
sure.
anyway, so I did that for 3 years, and I was hired to do social media. not knowing anything about social media. So that's when I think I was on social media at all. So with that, I opened a YouTube account, an Instagram account, which I'm on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram too. It's Viviane underscore Heller if you want to follow me on Instagram.
Okay.
And the link is on my about page of my channel. So I started taking pictures and posting for the company's products. It turned out that later on that it was the guy was a scammer. So anyway, I didn't get paid. And anyway,
Gross.
that's a long story. But with from that experience, I learned to post on social media, and I created my social media accounts, and that was like when I kind of got um, into this. But with cancer, I was like, okay, this is something that I gave. It was like a wake up call. Okay, I
Hmm.
wanted to leave that job, but I wanted to live with my head high, high, and I knew I was being taken for granted in that experience. And there were so many things going on, and I was accepting it, and I was like, okay, then it's time to uh, take care of myself. Got out of there, so in a way, the cancer was um, a blessing because it got me out of that situation. So then I took the opportunity to spend just I'll say those 5 years just taking care of my health and did a lot of soul searching and also going through this spiritual journey. And so the regular therapy that I got back at, it was after I was already experiencing the health scare and the night terrors. And I talk about my spiritual journey with my therapist. And so, in a way, it's getting the healing and from both sides and how that can uh, come together. Just like I like learning different modalities and combine them together, I like to tell people if you're struggling with depression or do what works for you.
I agree with you that doing what works for you,
Yeah.
also knowing why something doesn't work for you is
Mm-hmm.
equally powerful.
Yes.
You had said something earlier that you're not for everyone. I am definitely not for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
And that's absolutely okay.
Yes.
It's really important to understand what it is. If you watch someone and there's a strong reaction,
Mm-hmm.
what is that reaction? Because I get to learn from that.
Oops.
So, um,
Yes.
yeah, and you had actually talked about as you were sharing them once you understood what you were experiencing and you were able to name it, there's a huge power in
Mm-hmm.
naming something.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's something in my spiritual practice is the idea of
Mm-hmm.
to name something is to control it.
Yes.
That can work for you or against you depending upon who you are
Mm-hmm.
talking. So I think there's because that way it gives you a direction. It gives us a
Yes.
direction.
Yes.
So,
And when I mentioned self love earlier, and big thing of my journey too is understanding now how so many of my problems and so many of my choices uh, were because lack of self love.
mhm,
And now and every day I take steps now to uh, love myself and make choices that are not for people pleasing, and
yes.
really to honor myself and make the choices that are going to be good for me and Viviane, and look at myself in the mirror every day. That's something that John talks about a lot.
Uh-huh.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, Viviane. It may be silly at first, but I do that every day. And a little bit of TMI here too, but when I take a shower, I like to look at my body too, my reflection in the mirror, and say I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my healthy body. I love my body, and especially women, we tend to look at every little part of our body and we pay attention to the defects and magnifying them, but we don't do that other, you know, to look at our reflection and say that we love ourselves
Yes.
um, and the what we see as flaws, to send love to those parts of us.
There's a beauty and there's a lot of power in doing the mirror work and
Yes,
what you say to yourself
absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
and recognizing the physical body we are in and
Mm-hmm.
valuing that, flaws and all, or the uniqueness and all,
Yes.
because it's the intention. And
Mm-hmm.
that intention of spreading the love and sharing that love is so, so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
So, so powerful. Um, so you've learned a lot of things in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you are not a card reader, correct?
I, I, yes, correct. I actually, it's been, oh my God, many years ago. I had a job at an insurance company. I used to go to it was close to a mall, walking distance to a mall, and I used to go to the bookstore. And I
Yes.
bought a tarot set. There was like the weight, the
Mhm,
original. Um, Back then, I read the book and I read the tarot card for a friend once, and it was a nice experience. But then since then, I never. Actually, no, maybe more recently in a couple classes that I took, I used a tarot, but it's not usually something I practice. I love oracle cards. I
mhm,
love the cards because the imagery, it really triggers your senses and your intuition in a way that I find um, very interesting. But I'll say, yeah, at the moment I read oracle cards,
mhm.
but I usually get more from my sensations and intuition.
Yes.
Um, yes.
I love that because people interact differently with their spiritual gifts and their
Mm-hmm.
gifts. They don't have to be spiritual gifts. Uh,
Yes.
uh, that's a lot of power, and when we stop comparing ourselves to others
Yes.
and instead compare ourselves to where we have been and how we've grown and how we've
Hmm.
evolved, there's a lot of beauty in that. Maru
Yes.
shared, it bounces off the mirror and echoes into the universe.
Yes. Hmm.
So, and we are a divine creation. We are perfect and unconditionally loved.
Hmm.
It's very true.
That's why we love animals so much, because they love us unconditionally, and that's what I love about animals and what the unconditional love that they bring to us, and how much they teach us.
Do you have any pets right now?
Yes, I have four cats that I adopted from the shelter. They're I always had here in US. I always had two cats. Uh, for the most part, I adopted the older cats, and I always had two male cats. Well, this time I came across when they were kittens, that they were found. My cats, there were originally six cats. They were found somebody's yard not far from a busy road, and one of them unfortunately was killed by a dog, and
Oh
one
no.
died of the mom wasn't around. One was found dead with them, and I there were four of them. They look different. Um, and I fell in love with them as soon as I saw them, and I convinced, okay, and I have to have them. And I
Yes.
and I needed. I had a hard time choosing two, and then decided to choose three, and then I'm like, no, and then I'm gonna leave the one behind. So I ended up having four, and I think they were meant to be together. So I have two boys and two girls, and they're very loving. And brought them here when they were maybe like a little over 3 months old. They were very sick when they were found. One
Mhm.
of them was almost didn't make it. And they're so good. They sleep all night. When they were kittens, they used to be in this room here overnight,
Yes.
and they were so good. They were not meowing, scratching the door. No, they were just chilling, and they still do this. They sleep all night. They get to zoomies during the day and all that, but and do their shenanigans. But that's so good.
I
They're a
think,
lot of fun.
yeah, I agree with you that animals are great messengers. They deliver things. They're great unconditional love. I
Mm-hmm.
think cats have a bit of an attitude. Mine,
Yes, yes, and I love that. And actually, and they're so mystic, and they have this other beauty. I love how they love being around when I'm doing Reiki or when
oh,
live. At the
sure.
moment, they're watching a lot of birds and squirrels
Well, it is
outside.
spring. It is spring here in the northern
Yeah.
hemisphere. So yes, yes.
But yeah, I absolutely love and adore my cats, and I actually had a beautiful dream before I adopted these four cats. That I had a lovely cat. His name was Matt. They used to call him Matt the sweater cat. The person that cared for him couldn't care for him anymore. He was sent to the shelter that I became. Because of him, I became a volunteer. No, actually, before my two other cats that I adopted there. But Matt was Matt the sweater cat because he was all matted, so they had to shave him, and then he was wearing a
Oh,
sweater.
yes.
And when I went to the shelter to adopt him, to adopt a cat, he was sleeping, and there was a cat on top of him, and he was sleeping when I was there. Then he woke up, came around and started rubbing against me, and then I picked
Oh,
him up. He got all stretched, and I was like, okay, no, this is the one.
yep.
So I knew. I had a dream that there was this woman wearing a cape and looking down next to my bed, and then she reached down and picked this cat up and put it next to me, and it was Matt, and that happened after he passed away. So
Oh,
that to me was a sign, oh, Matt is back. And according to Mark the spirit whisper, one of my cats that actually looks like Matt is Matt
I love it.
reincarnated,
I love it.
and I believe that. So that's her name. He's Joni now. It looks like him, and so yeah. So that was it. Animals are so a big part, such a big part of our lives and healing. I'll say they
Yes.
have that.
I am currently without animals,
Mm-hmm.
and that they will be back. I'm not worried about that. That when the time is
Yes.
right. So,
Mm-hmm.
so believe it or not, we've been talking for almost 50 minutes. Can you
Yes.
believe that? And there are 48 people watching. Please make sure to show your support to both of our channels.
Thank you.
Yanni
Yes.
Heller. I would love to see you get some more subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes, thank you. And like I said earlier, every Monday and Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I simulcast live stream with John Beanie, and we do
mhm,
Akasha Records readings. We do quantum healing, which is one of my favorite things. Some animal readings and some mediumship readings too during the
yes,
live. But I absolutely love the quantum healing practice, and I learned from John by taking true training. I took the higher self foundational and intermediate training with him, and in a few months I'll be taking the advanced one.
I love that.
So yes, I'd love to see you there.
I love that. You also do a regular show with,
Mm-hmm.
somebody whose name happens to be Linda
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes, I love that. I with Linda de Gonzalez and Diana Bowles, we have the Akashic Adventures every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And love working with them. It's been a lot of fun. We every other week we choose who's hosting tonight. Linda is hosting next Thursday. Next Tuesday, I'll be hosting. So we simulcast.
This is
Uh,
a question that you have not been prepared for,
okay.
so you can pass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about of all of your recent spiritual experiences and your classes and your learning,
Mm.
is there something that surprised you with that? Something you were not expecting, an unexpected boom, or it's like, ooh, I like that. Do you want me to give you a second to think?
Yeah,
Because
actually, from the classes, you're taking from the classes that I've
yeah, or
often
just the combination of it.
a combination.
It's yeah, it's just this. There's a beauty, I think, in getting more information that is information that you're remembering, but you've simply
Mm-hmm.
forgotten it, or you've put it aside, or something like that. So, uh,
Um, I had interesting experiences while giving readings and during classes too that make me understand more of, I guess, giving more clarity about my journey. There are things that I learned about my a couple past lives
mhm,
and how they are affecting me now. And when it comes to the classes, I love how I am able to combine different things. I didn't know that that was going to happen, especially with the quantum healing and being able to combine that and see that. And still, there are things that I feel like I will experience more, like
mhm.
channeling, for example,
Yes.
because at the moment I'm not practicing that as much.
Mhm,
But I I love that. I love being able to combine it. And I've been surprised also about how the galactic beings uh, came through in readings during my own healing. I had a quantum healing session with Mary, that is a lovely person too. Mary from Earth and Star. Oh my God, it's a long name. Earth and Star Wellness,
okay.
Spiritual Wellness Center is the name of the
Mhm,
channel. And during my healing session with her, the galactic beings came through to help me, and I wasn't really expecting that. And I thought it was like, wow, so amazing. So I am so grateful for that experience and grateful for the galactic beings because I wasn't. It wasn't a reading. Okay, what is my galactic origin? It was just a surprise. It just showed up and started like helping this little surgery thing. That
oh,
was. I
okay.
was like, wow, this is wild. So now when I meditate and when I call on my guides, I have a long list and I call some of the masters, I called my angels, I called the galactic beings.
Mhm.
So I'll say this is something that surprised me because how this connection opened up in that way. So
I'm
uh,
so glad you said that. The something that has been helpful for me to remember, I have
mm-hmm,
lots of little skills and talents in a
mm-hmm,
wide variety of areas. What's great is incorporating those. No one said that mediumship had to be separate than tarot reading
yes,
or Akashic records
yes,
or Reiki or things like that.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes I have limited myself by putting myself, well, I can only do this. I'm doing this now. What I've learned
mm-hmm,
is by
yes,
opening myself up to those and allowing those to connect naturally,
yes,
amazing things have happened. Amazing things
yes.
that have
So
happened.
I love that connection. And the elemental kingdom, for example, I like now I when I go for walks in nature, it's a different experience because I know I'm connecting to the rocks, I'm connecting to the trees, and it's just like it's fun. Is and when I'm working with John too, like we have this experience we're dealing with. Sometimes an elemental guide comes through, or a galactic guide comes through, and that just it's amazing.
I love that. I love that. So the last thing I always like to ask everybody who's a guest on
Mhm.
my channel, because everyone is liking and subscribing to both of our channels,
Yes,
so
thank
thank you
you.
for that.
Mhm.
Um, what's bringing you joy these days?
My cats bring me joy every single day. Put a smile on my face every single day. So I'll say my cats, animals, music, dance,
Uh,
art, nature. But yeah, my cats are top. Hi, Starfish Jenny. Lovely to see you. Another person that Jenny was so supportive of me in the beginning of the
yes.
live stream, especially when we started doing the Akashic readings on Val's channel. I thought it was going to be only one time, and I was freaking out. I was super nervous. I was sweating, and I didn't know it was going to be every week. But I'm not a drinker, but when we finished that first live stream, I had a shot of scotch. I was like, wow, I needed, like, oh my God, it's over. I was like, can I come down and sleep now? So I didn't know it was going to be every week, but I'm so grateful for Val for making a push and putting us out there. And with that, started working together with Linda and Diana too.
Yes.
So,
And that is a wonderful thing to that Val has done.
mm-hmm.
Val's dragonfly crystals, I helped
Yes.
facilitate her quantum manifestation class.
Yes.
It's been lovely experience.
Mm-hmm.
Val has given people an opportunity not only to learn how to connect with Akashic
Yes.
records, to trust them and to relay them to a larger audience.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So this is really really
Yeah. That's why I call her my fairy godmother.
yes, yes. Uh, Kaylee said our last share we had both the Arcturians and Pleiadians who showed up. I think it depends on who is present and their own connections to the
Mm-hmm.
ETs. I would agree with you on that.
Yes.
With you on that. It's I was so lucky to have a class with Viviane before I even knew her on YouTube. Uh, so you've come so far.
Oh yes, thank you. Thank you.
There you
I
go.
took the classes. I took all pretty much all classes that Val offered.
Mm, yes. Is there something you want to make sure that people know before we head off, other than
Mm.
to that you're going to be on Akashic Adventures tonight with Linda and Diana? So
Mm-hmm. I would say that I'm grateful to be here now. I'm grateful for this community and for my journey, and I want everyone listening to this to have unconditional love and gratitude in their lives. Yes, and share that.
I think that is beautiful. It's a perfect note to end on and remind
Mm-hmm.
everybody that unconditional love is out there. Be willing to be
Mm-hmm.
nice to yourself and let it come in. And when it starts to show up, it might be a little overwhelming, but
Mm-hmm.
you're worth it. You're worth that slight discomfort. So,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
Viviani is amazing, said Paul, and then
Oh, thank you.
added
Hi, Paul.
it added in the next breath. And Gerald is great.
Yes, you are.
So, and Beth has said, I'm so happy to have had this opportunity to get to know Viviani. What a beautiful soul.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. So sweet. This is the, yeah, you have the best chatters for sure.
Well, and you know what is we share some of the best chatters. Well,
Mm-hmm.
here
Yes.
I'll say it. We share some of the best chatters, the future lurkers, the best
Mm-hmm.
lurkers,
Yes.
and the work lurkers. There's enough to go
Mm-hmm.
around. It's
Mm-hmm.
not an exclusive thing. So, but and Beth is I've always been into Reiki, but now I'm thinking of doing it for Bodhi, her dog. And what's interesting, this reminds me of a friend of mine, my good friend Ray from high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
She is a vet.
Yes.
She boy, this was back in the early 90s, late 80s, where she was hearing about Reiki and she wanted to learn Reiki because it was so effective to help with the animals and animal
Yes.
healing. So, as a
Yes,
companion.
lovely.
So, all right, everyone, thank you so very much. It's wonderful to share time
Oh,
with you,
thank you. I was looking
Viviane.
forward to this.
Oh, this is
Thank
so
you.
wonderful, so wonderful. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Please give this a thumbs up. Leave a
Mhm,
comment after the live so that we know that you've appreciated it. And we
mhm.
will see you the next time. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.